clearance for final approach.
Hey there, survivors. Cougar here, taking a break from the long dark to check out a new game, Ixion.
You have been assigned to Tycoon Docking Bay.
Ixion by Bulwark Studios. It's a space-based city builder along the lines of Frostpunk. And we're starting a new game here just to check it out together. So again, a lot of similarities to Frostpunk.
Ixion is now docked. Sector 1 empowered and pressurized.
One of the first things you'll notice.
Online. Disembarkation authorized.
Okay.
Message to crew members.
Welcome on board the Tycoon property of... Yes, thank you. I'm going to skip this. Yeah, one of the first things you're going to notice is that we are, as in Frostpunk, you start out with some piles of stuff to collect up that it's going to get you started. So we need to connect some roads here and start gathering up some of these resources that have been left behind for us. To do that, we're going to need a workshop. This is the person who actually does the work in a big mech. And then we're going to need some stockpiles to hold the materials that the mech is collecting up, or the people are collecting up for us. We're going to set the stockpile to hold alloy. You can see there's a lot of alloy lying around here. There's also some plastics and some food up here in the upper left-hand corner. So now we just got to wait for all this stuff to be collected up, and when it's collected up, we can start gathering things. I'm going to start with these smaller stacks of materials just to get them cleared up and out of the way. Oh, yep.
Administrator.
Giovanni Battista.
I wanted to introduce you to your first tasks personally.
Well, we hope we don't interrupt your lunch.
Cryonics lead. Marduk Council member Giovanni Battista.
Yeah, we're gonna skip this because he's eating his lunch.
Let's see.
As we're talking, and we don't necessarily need to listen to that. That's kind of rude, actually. But what he's telling us is that, well, we're gonna get some material, some objectives here.
Administrator, I have established a connection with Dolus's lead data scientist, Emma Klein.
Emma! What does Emma have to say? But before we get to that, talking with Giovanni unlocked some new stuff here in our build menu. So we can now build a docking bay. This sector already has a docking bay, so we don't have to build one of those. We can build a tech lab. We're going to want to build one of those pretty soon. And we can build some housing and an infirmary for our crew. And we're definitely going to want to get those built. But let's listen to Emma's transmission.
Administrator.
Hi, Emma.
Mr. Dolos has made it abundantly clear when it comes to security. Given the importance of the Tycoon, we must have full control over what is happening inside the station.
Yes.
My name is Emma Klein.
Hi, Emma.
Dolos's lead data scientist and member of the Marduk Council.
Great to meet you.
My department have just completed final synchronization between Eden and our data treatment tool, the DLS.
The DLS. I'm going to skip through the rest of this.
Is capable of scanning.
A new request awaits your attention.
The DLS is basically how we communicate with crew members. We don't actually have a DLS building down right now, but we can still listen to their requests. Tycoon crew members are currently unable to access food supplies. Protocols direct the construction of a mess hall. This building is designed to distribute food from our stockpiles to the crew. Guaranteeing access to food supplies will reaffirm your competency as an administrator. We will ensure access to food, definitely. Because, like Frostpunk, you have to manage the society as well as the ship. Or the city. So we're going to build a mess hall, and then we're going to need a stockpile to hold the materials in, to hold the food before it's transferred to the stockpile. So we'll get both of those being constructed, and then we can actually, well, once we set this stockpile to hold food, we can click on the food resource over here, and they'll start gathering that up and bringing it to the stockpile, from whence it will be transferred to the mess hall, from whence it will feed people. And we need to be gathering up more goodies from the piles that have been left lying around. And we're going to need, so again, there's another resource here, that's plastics. And we're going to need some of that too. So let's build another stockpile here to access the plastics, or hold the plastics. I'm also going to build yet another stockpile for alloy, because we want to get all this alloy cleaned up and out of the way so that we have some room to build stuff. And I'm going to build out some roads to give us access to all these other goodies. More roads. And over here we need roads too. And that should do it. Okay, with the food stockpile built, now they're transferring food from the pile left behind into the stockpile, and then it'll go over to the mess hall, and then it'll feed people. Okay, next transmission from Emma.
Administrator, I have an incoming transmission from Marduk Council Member Henry Bargeville.
Henri Bargeville. Let's hear what Henri has to say.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, Henri.
What a wonderful day to embrace our fate, don't you
Oui,
think?
wonderful. I do
I'm
agree.
Henri Bargeville, writer, philosopher, lobbyist, but most of all member of the Marduk Council. I have taken the liberty of personally arranging an exchange out of courtesy with the Oceanabi.
The Oceanabi, a ship in high orbit
belonging to one of our commercial allies,
belonging to
the
one of our
Ashton
commercial
guys. Even so,
allies.
there is
All right, I'm going to skip the rest of that because, so what's going on here is we've got 3 levels of view. I like city builders, and I'm always looking for a city builder that adds a new twist. In this case, the twist is we can work in the interior view, we can work in the exterior view. This is where we can build stuff like solar panels and engines and do repairs on the hull, that kind of stuff. We can also zoom further out to the planetary system map. And now we're going to build some ships, and we're going to be able to send ships. Like we can build a science ship and send it to the moon and see what's going on over there. We can build a cargo ship and send it to this other nearby ship, the Urshanabi, which has some food for us to pick up. So let's get on that right away. Back inside, go to the docking bay, and we're going to, let's build the science ship first. That's going to take 25 of the plastics that we just built a storehouse to hold, right? Yes. Oops, that's going to need a little road to connect it up. We're going to set this other stockpile that we just built to more alloy, and then clean up all these small piles of alloy here to give us a little bit more room to build once the time comes. And click on the, now we have a place to store the plastics. We'll click on those stockpiles as well, get those gathered up. And then once this stockpile that will hold the plastics is built, they'll send it over to the dock and start building our first science ship. There are 3 speed controls down at the bottom here. Let's speed this up to fast time. And then the buttons down at the bottom, construction, tech tree, DLS, which is basically government, and then resource management. So I'm going to slow this back down a little because you see there are sections here, and we can open up a new section. The resource management is for transferring goods to other sections once we've opened them. And then population management, which can tell us things like we have no housing in this sector and 80 people living here. So we're going to have to get some housing down. In fact, if I click on this event, some crew members are lacking quarters, all of them, really. During human history, unnecessary homelessness has always been an indicator of civilizational decay. Do not reproduce humanity's basic mistakes aboard the Tycoon. No problem. Ensure all crew are quartered within 12 cycles. We can do that. This first, so we'll go back to the build menu, population. This first crew quarters houses 15 crew members. So we're going to build a bunch of these. I'm just looking for a good place to build it. Space management is critical in this game. You only have so much space to work with here. So you got to be really careful about how you build stuff, how you lay stuff out, so that you're making the best possible use of the space that you have. So where can I build those crew quarters that are going to, it's going to make sense. No place really. If I can clear up this bit of plastic here, it would make sense to do some here, maybe. No, not really. Okay, we're just going to have to put down some crew quarters for now, and we may have to find a better place for them later. But we need to get these 80 people, we need to give them some beds to sleep in tonight. Yeah. I'm hoping that this gets cleaned up pretty quickly. It should, because we're using a lot of alloy to go in here. So they've delivered all the plastics that they need to build the science ship over here to the docking bay. The ship is now being built. It's about halfway done. So we're going to speed this up a little. Okay, good. The resource pile that was blocking our way over here is gone. So now we can build some roads to hook up the other buildings, the other crew quarters that we're building. And then over here, once we open up this other sector, there are 4 access points through to the other sector. And we got to make sure that we don't block these off, so I'm actually going to run a road out there right now, just to make sure that we don't accidentally block off any of the access points. There's 1, 2 here in the center, and then 1 over here. All right, our first science ship has been built and is being launched. Now we can go to, well, we got to get another ship under construction here. Let's get a cargo ship under construction. And then we can go to the planetary systems map and send our science ship, the Medusa, to the moon and see what's going on over here at the moon.
A science ship has arrived at its destination.
Great. The base transmission from the Medusa's team, we have reached the UN base. It is abandoned and depressurized. The surveillance system is still operational, awaiting orders. Base is out of commission. Auxiliary systems are operational, could be used to restore power. We're going to exploit a security vulnerability to access the base's central systems and retrieve any confidential data present. That is going to take 1 cycle. That's basically a day. So we can go back inside while that happens and see what's going on in here. Another thing that we can build now, as I mentioned, is the tech lab. We're going to want to build one of those right away because we're going to be able to start, we're going to get some science. We're going to have some science to work with soon. And I'm going to want to build my tech lab right over here up against the wall, which means that this road is going to be in the way. So I'm going to build a second road right next to it and then tear up the one that's in the way. Our first cargo ship is being built. And almost all of our crew quarters are built. Our people, if I click on the population management button down here at the bottom again, it tells us that we have 45 houses so far for 80 crew members. So these last 2 should do it, right? A science ship has completed their task. Let's go see what the Medusa has found. We hacked into the main computer systems as ordered and retrieved several relevant research papers and data sets. So we can now extract the science from there and go ahead and dismantle the base, which is going to take 2 cycles. So we can go back inside, see how work on our first cargo ship is doing. It's almost done. There it goes. Now that that has been launched, we can click on the fleet management button down here at the bottom, and it tells us that there are 12 pieces of food, or boxes of food, waiting for us over on the Urshanabi. Set that as active, something for our cargo ship to retrieve. And if we go back out here, you can see there's our little cargo ship, the Neshmet, heading over to the Urshanabi, grabbing the food and bringing it back. And that'll come in here at the dock and go right to our stockpile. There are no active health buildings. We've got 2 or alerts down here. One that people are still homeless here. We've got one last building that's still being built, crew quarters. But we also need to get down an infirmary. So let's see if we can find a good place for that. This actually seems like it might be a good place. Let's do that. That's going to take more alloy. We have more to retrieve and clean up here. So let's click on the rest of these. And speed this up to fast time. This is almost all done here. So we can tear down that other road that's in our way.
The team has completed a task.
Good. Let's go check out what they were able to accomplish. The Medusa. The base has been dismantled. Although most equipment was damaged, we were able to prepare some usable resources for extraction. There are 30 alloy and 90 science there, ready for extraction. So we can now go to our fleet management screen. There are 30 alloy now available for harvesting or retrieval. So we'll make sure that's activated. Close this. And now the Neshmet is heading over to collect the alloy from the moon and bring it back. And that'll go into our stockpiles. And now, because we already have some science with more coming in, if you look in the upper right hand corner here, we can now, we really need a tech lab to do something with that science. So let's get a tech lab built. Yeah, let's do it this way. You don't want to build up against the walls too much because there are some buildings that can only be built up against a wall. But over here, you see this Sector 1 sign here. You can't build anything right in front of that sign up on the wall. So this is all good usable space for us right here until the end of the sign. And then we need to kind of reserve this other space over here for something big that's going to go there eventually. Okay, we've cleared up a lot of the resource piles that were left here for us. So now we can start dismantling more of these roads. This one still needs to go. And our alloy stockpiles are full, which means we're going to have to come up with something else to build to use some of that so that we can take out, so that we can remove this last stockpile here and have this area available. So let's build some more crew quarters. How about? We've already got enough crew quarters for everyone. Down in the population management screen, we've got 90.
I have an incoming transmission from Dolus's head of medicine, Dr. Abhinav Munshi.
Dr. Munshi. Let's hear what he has to say.
Mr.
Greetings,
I'm
Dr.
Abhinav
Munshi.
Dolo's expert in compartmentalism and medicine, and a member of the Marduk Council.
Nice to meet you.
I'm glad to finally meet you, even in this digital manner. Your psychological test results were quite impressive.
Well, thank
My
you.
friend and colleague, Philip Stanford, couldn't be here today, so I will take the role of introducing you to the final stages of the Vol engine integration.
Terrific.
Before we get into that, however, we would like you to complete the testing station's exploration and enhancement capabilities.
Okay.
You'll then be able to begin researching the EVA airlock and
EVA
assess its
airlock,
compatibility with the
That's what they
Typhoon's
want me to
core systems.
research.
I hope that the work of our team will ensure that you're equipped to deal with most situations you encounter up there. Before I leave you, Stanford would like me to remind you that space is a far less fanciful and forgiving environment than science fiction would have us believe.
Says
It
you.
would be wise to remember that.
Okay. All right, we finished completion of our tech lab. We're now researching EVA docks, EVA airlock. And as soon as that's researched, we're going to build one up against the wall here. And use it to do stuff on the exterior, in the exterior view of the station. I'm already at fast speed. We can speed this up a little bit more. Let's just check our exterior view here, see if there's... All right, well, we've finished extracting all the data, all the science data that was waiting at the moon. So now we can send the Medusa onto another site to investigate. Let's send them to Mars. And that'll take a while to get there, so let's go back inside. Our research is almost finished. 95, 96, 97. Great. Technology EVA airlock has been unlocked. So let's build one of those under the Space tab. This'll do it. Again, I'm going to leave one square on the far right side because that's where the pass-through to the next sector will be eventually. In fact, why don't we block that off right now? Make sure that nobody uses any of this. And that's going to start... This is going to take 90 alloy to build, which is going to start depleting our resources here. Let's clear up these last two small piles of resources. And we're already at fast speed. I can speed this up to super fast, but I have a feeling our science ship is about to arrive at Mars. Yep, there it is.
A science ship has arrived at its destination.
Let's see what they found. The UN has established a facility on Mars. Its crew are currently lacking the materials required to repair a critical fault in their oxygen supply system. They've submitted an official request for Dolos aid. So we can either spend 20 alloy to repair the fault or in exchange for resources, or we can send 10 alloy and 10 plastics to repair the fault in exchange for research data. That's what we're going to do. We'll assign the Neshmet to do that. The Neshmet will now pick up materials from the Tycoon and carry them over to Mars, which is going to take a while because it's a cargo ship, and which is kind of slow. But as soon as they're done loading up the materials, we'll see them leave, but we don't have to wait around for that. Let's go back inside. Yep, there it goes. They just loaded up all their stuff, and now their cargo ship's taken off, and now it will begin its journey. The EVA airlock is about to be built. One more piece of alloy and... Oh no, well, now it's being built. Now all the supplies are there, now it will be built. Let's have a look. We still have more stuff, more science to spend on researching stuff. I think the next thing we're going to research is an insect farm, which, because we're going to run out of food soon, there's not much food left. We're going to have to start growing our own sooner or later. Let's do it sooner if we can. All right, we've depleted this stockpile, this pile. That should be disappearing momentarily. I'm just going to take up that road, give us a free reign in terms of building more stuff. And we don't, well, we might need a little bit.
A science ship team has completed a task.
Let's see what they found. All right, well, our cargo ship, the Neshmet, made it to Mars. They dropped off the goodies, and the oxygen supply system has been repaired, and the relationship between Dolos and our competitor has improved by 42%. There's also 10 science now ready for extraction. And as soon as that's done...
Administrator, due to insufficient levels of electricity generation, Sector 1's power demand has overloaded.
Yes, okay. So, when the EVA airlock went online, that overtaxed our power supplies. So right now, we're going to temporarily shut off the tech lab so that our EVA airlock goes active again, and we can use it to go outside and build a solar panel. That will take, what did it say, 10 plastics to build that. And it should go pretty quickly. Yep, it's going already. So let's go back inside, and we should get a notification when that's built, and we can turn our tech lab back on. I'll speed this up again. This is super fast speed. I'm going to slow it back down because we're running a little, not super low, but a little low on the alloy, and I want to clear up some more space for us to build stuff. So let's start harvesting up this big pile of alloy. Let's speed it back up. We've gotten a message. Hang on. I'm going to slow this down. We've finished building the solar panels, so now I can turn the tech lab back on, and we've got a new event. Administrator reports are being received relating to optimization protocols on board the Tycoon. They indicate the crew members are being overworked. It would be pragmatic to deploy additional crew members. We can request additional staff from the Urshanabi. Let's do that. In order to actually pick them up, we're going to have to go to fleet management, make sure that our cargo ship is set up to carry passengers. And once that's done, if we go back out to the system map, we can see that the Neshmet has gone over to the Urshanabi, grabbed some crew members, and is bringing them back. That is going to change our housing situation. Let's check our population management. We have 120 houses, and it looks like we'll have 105 crew. So that's fine. We've got enough sleeping spots for all of them. Okay. Seem to be all right here. All right, I'm going to speed this back up, and wait a minute. What are we waiting on? Oh, we've extracted all the science from Mars. So now we can send the Medusa over to Saturn. And there are a couple, we do have some more of the plastics here. We've still got 35 of the polymer, I call them plastics, same thing. But what should we do with that is the question. We could build a third ship. We have another slot available in the dock. We could build another science ship or a mining ship, of which we have none yet. But there's nothing really to mine at this point. We've finished our tech research. We can build insect farms now. Let's start more research on a probe launcher. And let's get some insect farms built. Population, food. I'm going to build them here. I'm going to build this one here because that's in front of the sign. I'm going to build 2 more up here. That's space that could have been used for something that goes up against the wall, but I don't think that was enough space for anything that we would have wanted to build there. Plus, we still have this whole other wall down here. So this is going to... Our people are... If you look at the lower left-hand corner here, the sector is happy. They're not being overworked. In fact, work conditions are optimal. And they're being fed. And soon we'll have our own replenishing supply of food coming in. We won't have to rely on stuff that we banked in our stockpile. But that's going to take workers, right? So speed this up again. Our next tutorial objective is to finish building the Vol engine in the exterior view. So let's see what that's going to take. Engines and external systems. The Vol engine is only going to require 100 alloy, which we can do. So let's go ahead and get construction started on the engine. This is a sublight engine that's just going to move us around. No, wait, I'm sorry. We have the EKP engine. That moves us around within the system. And then the Vol engine is what it's going to take to... That's kind of faster than light travel.
A science ship has arrived at its destination.
Let's see what they found on Saturn. Medusa, talk to me. A signature trace from an EKP system has been detected near Saturn. EKP technology is the exclusive property of Dolos, but records indicate that the company has not deployed any missions in this sector. The signature will soon enter the atmosphere of Saturn. Let's send a team to investigate before it all burns up. While that's happening, let's go back inside, speed this back up a little bit. So they're transferring a lot of alloy to the EVA airlock to take it outside and build our engine. Start harvesting up another pile of alloy. And then this pile here is going to be, these two piles are the last piles we have of existing alloy. Soon we're going to have to start building factories to create our own. We've unlocked the probe launcher that can be used to explore the system and probe for anomalies. Let's see if we can get one of those built. That's probably going to be a lot of alloy as well. Yeah, 90 alloy for that as well, which is probably going to put us right up around the last of our existing alloy. We're going to have to start doing our own alloy production, which means we should go to the tech tree and look at the steel mill, unlocking that. We only have 20 science, so we can get this started, but we're not going to be able to finish it until we get more science. Now, the tech center does it generates its own science, but at a very slow pace. Right now, it's 1 science every 30 cycles. There's an upgrade here.
A science ship team has completed a task.
Just really quickly, there's an upgrade here in the tech tree that we can upgrade the tech lab to do faster research and produce more science faster. So we'll do that eventually. Incoming transmission, but I'm also going to go...
Because of your continued successful management of the Tycoon, Dolos have authorized the dispatch of new crew members and food supplies.
Good. We need both of those.
Please ensure that they have suitable accommodation once you reach Proxima Centauri.
Suitable accommodation. Yes, definitely. But now let's check what happened to the team on Saturn. A prototype rocket sent by the UN seems to use a variation of EKP. We've stripped it down and recovered its schematics for 10 science. It's going to take a few seconds to grab that. So let's move on to the next transmission. Nope, there isn't a next one. This is almost done. All right. Is there anything else for our science ship to do right this second? No. But let's just send the Medusa, bring it back home for now. Head back to the Tycoon. Oh, there are more workers over at the Urshinabi. Our ship, our cargo ship, should be handling that on their own. Yep, they're going to pick up 80 workers. That's a lot. We're going to have to build a bunch more housing for them. So let's get started on that. That might do it. So that's, what, 60 more? And we're at... Population's at 185 now, but I think that's still going up. I think we're still bringing guys in. And we've only got 120. So that's not going to be enough housing-wise. I'm going to overdo it. I'm going to build more than we need so that we don't have to do this again. But that is going to kind of tax our alloy supply. We're almost out of alloy now. Incoming transmission.
Administrator.
Yeah.
The different phases of preparation, calibration, and verification were successfully completed.
Good.
You must now start the full bonding procedure. Dolos protocols now deem you competent to gather resources, knowledge, and test colonization routines once you reach Proxima Centauri.
I'm competent, guys.
Do so, Vanir Dolos.
Yeah, so the head of Dolos wants to talk to us.
Hello, Administrator.
I'm going to skip through this,
that you have managed to complete your assignments in preparation for this. You must understand that this is not simply another chapter. We've endured endless cycles of this pale ghost of civilization. Well, through Dolos, I am offering the Tycoon as a tablet. Do you recognize why I have done? Having foreseen our fate, I became Farewell, Administrator.
Farewell.
For the few who stand in the light, and the many who dwell in the dark, you carry the fate of us all.
I carry the fate of us all. Our new mission is to move the Tycoon into orbit of the moon. So we can actually click on move the Tycoon, send it to the moon. Yes, all power will be diverted during this move. And there she goes. Medusa should be following along. Yep, Medusa's actually on board right now, which is good. Because as soon as this is done, now we can fire up the Vol engine and move to a new planetary system. Whether you want to do that now or whether you want to stay in this system and do some more stuff in here is up to you. But we're going to call it an episode for now. Our first episode of the Ixion game, and there'll be more coming. But I just wanted to give you a little peek at what this is about. Thanks for watching, everybody. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. There'll be more coming eventually. Stay safe, survivors.